When it comes to the Chicago Bears, it tends to run in these cyclical type of things. I say something, start pounding the table about something, and Bears fans largely hate me for it. Then there's that segment that starts to be an early adopter and saying, hey, you know what? You might be onto something. Then when it becomes a lot more evident and a lot easier to get behind it, a lot more people start to say the same things and then pretend like it's a new revelation and it was them all along and they were one of the ones that led it. And then you have those late adopters that I would sometimes call deniers that still want to proclaim reality being other than what it actually is. See Trubisky. See Jay Cutler. Need I say any more? But I'm hoping by now that there are no late adopters, no deniers, that everybody, at least for Bears fans, because certainly the vast majority of fans of other teams and just in general can understand this basic fundamental principle. Matt Nagy is a numbskull. Specifically when it comes to this ridiculous-ass plan of gadgets and gimmicks for how he's deploying Justin Fields to start off the season. How could anybody defend this dumb dick shit? Like, we have all types of examples, and I've spent enough time talking in previous videos about the importance of maximizing that rookie scale contract when you take a quarterback in the first round. That pointing out examples like, oh, Patrick Mahomes said a year on the bench behind Alex Smith. It's a similar situation here. How stupid that is. Because Alex Smith, at that time, better than Andy Dalton ever. Keep in mind, too, Alex Smith, this was also a Chiefs team that had went to the playoffs 3 of the previous 4 seasons before they drafted Patrick Mahomes. You could also then argue, wisely, I think, that sitting Mahomes for all of 2017 was really stupid, and it bit him in the ass in the playoff game against Tennessee that year. If anything, the Chiefs may have potentially cost themselves another Super Bowl title because of their stubborn insistence on sticking to the dumb plan. Aaron Rodgers' situation, he sat behind a Hall of Famer and Brett Favre for 3 years. Give me a fucking break. Like, so stupid. The game is more passer-friendly than ever. And the game is more closely aligned in terms of scheme and execution to the college game than it probably has been in generations. You draft these guys high because you think they could be the dude. You draft these guys high because you believe they have special, unique talents that can elevate your franchise and organization. You draft these guys because you don't have that answer on your roster now. There's a reason why you're in a position to draft one of these guys, so you fucking play them right away. It's like how the Ravens stubbornly stuck to Joe Flacco in 2018, but when they eventually had to go to Lamar Jackson, like it changed the trajectory of their season. They had to change everything they did, yes, but they ultimately made the playoffs in large result because Lamar Jackson represented something different. The bottom line is, if these young guys are worth your high pick, play them. Sitting them is a dated dumb dick philosophy. And when you look at what happened in week 1, 3 out of the 5 teams with first-round rookie quarterbacks started them. 3 of them. You know, now granted they all 3 lost, but they gained valuable experience. Trevor Lawrence showed some toughness and made some nice plays, while also showing he's got a lot to learn and at the same time understanding that the talent around him is not great in Jacksonville. Zach Wilson struggled early on the road and then rebounded nicely in the second half. Mac Jones looked really good, accurate, crisp, in that game against the Dolphins, even though they lost. So the wins, losses doesn't really matter here. You're looking at the much larger picture. And even if you're going to say, well, the 49ers won and they didn't start Trey Lance, that situation is still different. Kyle Shanahan, much better offensive mind and coach than a Matt Nagy is. Trey Lance should still be the starter in my humble estimation, but Trey Lance is also very raw and had almost no 2020 game action. He played, 1 game at North Dakota State? That wasn't the case for Justin Fields. He had, 7, 8 games of action in 2020, a full season in 2019. This is not the same thing. Trey Lance is also on a team that went to the Super Bowl in the 2019 season and feels like, they have a lot of those pieces where they can do so. Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as I call him Jimmy Garbage Pail and say he's not great, he's still better than Andy Dalton when healthy. That's the big problem with him, is being healthy. The 49ers also as a team are just better than the Bears. Roster construction, both sides of the ball, like they're just a better team. So again, situation is entirely different. But what we should have all come to realize, if we didn't already know it already, is how dumb and stupid this plan for Justin Fields is, and how ridiculous it is to go with this gadget gimmick bullshit. It is peak Nagy numbskullery. Why would you want to evoke any types of memories or any types of strategies or philosophies from the Dick Duran, Cade McNown approach? Remember this shit in 99? He would typically bring in Cade McNown early on in the year to play like the third series in each half, as we want to get him some reps, we want to get him some tick. Well, it didn't fucking work. Oh, certainly because Cade McNown sucked, was incredibly overdrafted by dumb dick-ass Bears front office, as per usual. But the approach just doesn't work, because you're putting in a guy for a little bit of time and then pulling him right back out. How is he ever going to gain real confidence? How is he ever going to really get into a rhythm, get into a flow of the game? How is the offense going to be able to adjust to him? And then for the actual starter himself, whether it was a Jim Miller back in 99 or anybody else, how are you going to sit there and really yourself get into some type of flow and some type of rhythm if you're getting yanked every arbitrary third series or something like that? It doesn't make any sense. And what's so bad about it is Nagy didn't even go to that level. He's literally bringing him in as a pinch hitter. One play here, one play there. You're trying the Taysom Hill approach for a guy that you traded up, gave up a first and fourth round pick in next year's draft, along with the 20th pick in the 2021 draft, to go up to 11 to fucking draft. That makes no goddamn sense. It's one thing if the Saints do it with the Sean Payton. Taysom Hill was undrafted. Sean Payton is going to the Hall of Fame. Matt Nagy is not. Sean Payton knows what the hell he's doing on offense as a play caller. Matt Nagy has clearly established in 3+ years he does not. So taking this stupid-ass Taysom Hill approach to the development of the face of your franchise is borderline. No, it's more than that. It is Matt levels of moronic. You bring him in for one play, and then he goes back to the bench. It doesn't do anything for Fields. It doesn't get him in any type of rhythm or type of flow. It doesn't allow the offense to figure out how to function with him as the leader. Also, since you insist on being dumb dicks and starting Andy Dalton, it's also fucking up Andy Dalton in 95% of the rest of the time on offense, because you don't really get into a rhythm or flow with him, and he's just randomly got to come out. It's just stupid. Look at how it disrupts the flow of the offense, like the first drive, right after the big David Montgomery run. You're deep in Rams territory. After Fields comes in and the gadget play, throws a few yards of a pass to Goodwin on the outside. Now you're third and short, deep in Rams territory. What happens? Now you bring back in Andy Dalton after that Fields play. Oh, it's a penalty. Oh, then of course the obligatory burn a timeout in the first quarter because you're not prepared like a dumbass. And then Dalton interception. Those things all potentially avoidable in an opportune situation against a quality team that the Bears needed to capitalize on. But because of the insistence of doing this gimmick gadget bullshit, Matt Nagy once again got too cute for his own damn bald head and cost this team points. This whole thing about having to see Andy Dalton play to evaluate him. You have a decade of film, asshole! How much more time do you need? And then later on in the game, do you really need to see Andy Dalton anymore when you're already down 20 points with 3 minutes to go? How does that make any sense? If anything, that's perfect mop-up time, garbage time, to get your young quarterback more snaps and more experience, but you want to keep playing Andy Dalton! He's ride or die with the Red Rocket, and it makes no goddamn sense. Everybody with eyeballs and a brain can clearly see and process and understand this very simple fundamental tenet. There is nothing that Andy Dalton can do that Justin Fields can't do. In fact, there are several things Justin Fields can do that Andy Dalton simply cannot. That's obvious. We all know this. Exactly what is 1 or 2 plays a quarter going to do for Justin Fields and his development? What is it going to do to help this team in any way, shape, or form? That makes no goddamn sense. And then, of course, predictably, you got your shit rocked by the Rams on week 1, who didn't even feel like they were truly clicking on all cylinders, especially defensively, and you still lost by 20 goddamn points. What the hell did you end up proving by starting Andy Dalton? Oh, we could have a lot of long, sustained drives that don't lead to shit because we lack the explosive plays. We can't hit the big plays on offense because our quarterback and our play calling combined to negate that ability whatsoever. How much worse would it have been if you started the rookie against that defense? I mean, seriously. Either one of 3 results happens. Either A, you lose by more points, and what's the difference of losing by 20 or 30? At least the young kid played. You get beat by a similar margin, then you say, okay, wouldn't have been much better under Andy Dalton. It wasn't any better under Andy Dalton, as we know, and at least the young guy got experience. Or maybe you do even better, and you look better as an organization, and if you're a head coach, it might be the one glaring hope that you have to hold on to your job after this season is Justin Fields coming out of the gate strong. And you negate all those chances and all those opportunities, all those win type of scenarios by being a dumb dick and sticking with the Red Rocket. Offensive line concerns? Justin Fields can move more effectively with his feet. Could minimize some of those offensive line concerns. Why did you invest in all the speed in your wide receiver room to then have your play calling design and your quarterback design to not unleash it in any way, shape, or form? Almost all of your routes are in the 5 to 10 yard range, and a lot of them shorter than that. I realize you're not going to bomb away 30 yards plus down the field every single play. But to not really want to do that at all in today's NFL is astoundingly stupid. Imagine having a quarterback that can actually help you unleash that speed that you have on offense in guys like Mooney and Bird and Goodwin. I wonder which quarterback can do that. Oh, that's right, it's Justin Fields. You got a defense keying in on your habits offensively, which isn't that hard to do with this offense. How about a mobile QB that shakes shit up and keeps everybody honest? Oh my frickin' Lord. You almost feel like you're at a point now where Matt Nagy's being stubborn, to be stupid. Because that's what this is. It's stubborn stupidity. Getting reports out there talking about, oh, the Bears don't want to start Justin Fields any earlier than week 4. For what? Why the fuck? The hell do you need to see 2 more weeks of Andy Dumb Dick Dalton for? So that way you can do this stupid ass approach of giving Justin Fields a play or 2 each quarter? The hell is going to be different? You said you needed to see Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was not very good. To those that are going to say he was fine. No, he wasn't fucking fine. You've just allowed your standards over the decades to be lowered so much by the mediocrity of the McCaskey way that you think this is normal, this is qualified quarterback play. It's fucking not. And when all of your passes go 5 yards or less, that's a problem. That's not okay. It's not fine. And even if it was fine, you still only scored 14 points on goddamn offense. That's not okay in today's NFL. It's another year of the same crap with the Chicago Bears. Waiting a few more weeks doesn't make a difference. It just makes you look dumb. Playing Fields a couple of snaps a game doesn't make you look innovative or a genius or doing the smart thing. It makes you look dumb. It's one thing to have a plan and stick to it. It's another thing to have a plan, stick to it, flying in the face of all fucking football logic and damn near common sense. If there's anybody that still supports Matt Nagy after what they saw in week 1, you're just being a troll or you're just being dense because you like to be difficult. That's it. There is no other defense. There is no other justification. And this ridiculous-ass plan that he deployed in week 1 for Justin Fields just shows how badly this organization needs a change at the head coaching position. Fire Matt Nagy. Fire him now.